Welcome back to Kind of Connection. I'm Jason Gray, and I'm sitting down today with Renee Nava, who is the new Director of Retention, or Recruitment and Retention at Gillette College.
Yes,
right?
for sure.
All right.
Yes.
And you've only been here, what, 2 weeks now, you said?
This is the middle of my third week, actually.
Middle of your third week.
Definitely. It's been an experience and a pretty awesome place, yes.
Yeah, all right. Well, do you want to tell us a little bit about what a Director of Recruitment and Retention does, and then maybe a little bit about your history?
Sure. Basically, I try to incorporate all of our efforts to recruit and retain our students in conjunction to our vision and our mission for our college. We do have a strategic plan that's on our website, and it's been formulated prior to me getting here. So I try to align our efforts in recruitment and having connections through the community, through our partnerships or stakeholder input. And that's kind of where I'm supposed to be working, making sure all the cogs and the wheels are running smoothly, and then troubleshooting whenever that happens. We do get a lot of inquiry from the public or students or other partners, and then we try to see how we can accommodate and use that angle or inquiry to kind of promote the college and also benefit the community at hand. That's kind of my goal. So I juggle quite a bit there.
Yeah.
Not as much as other people who are in our senior level of administration, but
Sure.
I try to mitigate issues that come or arise and kind of just juggle everything around, basically.
All right. And did you want to talk about your history a little bit?
Oh,
What
yeah,
did you do
sure.
before?
Well, I got into education way back in high school. That we had a course in high school that was like a teacher prep type of course, and just in general, we had a lecture time, and we had what you would call a clinical, where you go into the schools and see what teachers are doing in elementary, middle school, and high school kind of deal. And that piqued my interest in being an educator. So I had a teacher who was also a mentor. She reached out and said, "You're a great writer. You should be an English teacher." And I was like, "Well, okay, I'll look into it." And I just backing up a little bit. I came from like the wrong side of the railroad tracks, where my neighborhood, we had gangs, we had the drug dealers and stuff like that, and a lot of my friends ended up going through the juvenile system and stuff like that. But I was able to not follow that path, if you will. I had a lot of mentors that reached out and said, "Hey, you're good at this. You should try that." So I joined the newspaper club. In Texas, we have this competition that's called the UIL, and so I competed and I had friends who were seniors, and they introduced me to this program called Upward Bound. I was able to be exposed to college through that program. And then I got a scholarship to go to college, and I was pretty ecstatic about it. So I went to college, and I was, because of the teacher prep program class that I took, I was interested in being an educator, an English teacher at that time. So I finally graduated, and I said, all these individuals who basically held my hand or helped me through the process of,
Sure.
Going through the early part of my life, I was like, I want to return that favor. I want to be able to serve my community in that sense. So I became a teacher, and part of my teacher philosophy at the time, or even now, is we don't just learn in the classroom, we learn outside of the classroom. So I coach different sports, I sponsor different activities after school and the weekends for our students, and promoted these activities for our students. So that's kind of where I ended up being at the beginning, and then became a teacher for a while, and then I ended up doing active duty service back in 2007. So I hung my teacher hat up and did service for my country for 5.5 years, active duty. Deployed once to Iraq. I got injured, so came back, and at the time my wife and we lived in Colorado, so I said, well, we're out of the Army. So I became a federal agent for about 3 years. And then it was mostly overnight and a lot of traveling for that division of the government. So I finally said, you know what, I think I'm gonna go back to teaching. So I got my teacher license in Colorado, and then began teaching there. Did the same thing, sponsoring, coaching, things like that. And then it was during COVID that when happened, a friend of mine at NJC in Sterling, Colorado, asked me if I would come on board and help them with the recruitment because they had just gotten a grant for like $2 million, and they were trying to reskill people who had lost their jobs because of COVID and
Sure.
train them, retrain. So we focused on certain programs that we had, and I became a recruiter, and eventually I went to other parts of that college, and then I ended up in Scottsbluff and then over here now. So that's kind of my journey, if you will. A lot of different experiences, a lot of connections and networking.
Sure.
And that's kind of where I am right now, is I'm looking to establish a homestead here in Gillette, move my family up here, and then become part of the community. So I'm gonna work with the Rotary Club and the Kiwanis and the VFW and other entities that are around here, and that's kind of like my strategic planning for recruiting and retention and servicing our community.
Sure.
In that sense.
All right. And is there any events for the college coming up in December?
We do have like administrative types, so we do have our spring and summer registration occurring right now. I believe we're going to allow that to happen until early January. So you're able to register for your courses, seek advisement, and kind of get going with that part for our programs and courses for that spring. We also have, I believe our classes begin January 21. So if you're interested in coming on board as a student, I would say at least 2 weeks prior to that, we'll try to get you completed and ready to go with everything that you need to do in that sense. I understand that we do have a Christmas celebration happening pretty soon at our campus. I'm trying to see, I think it's December the 3rd, and it's in the evening. If you want more information, obviously we have that in our webpage. We can follow up with that, or just call our caller, somebody will give you that information. I mean, most of our events are probably on our webpage. We have some program-specific deadlines coming up, so that's also interesting in that sense. And our athletic seasons for the winter have begun, so we have basketball, men's and women's, and we have them going on, those games. So we'd love for you all to come over to our Pronghorn Center, and if you've never been there, it's a pretty nice facility. I haven't been to a home game yet, but I plan to be in the next one that's coming up pretty soon, and see how that's like, experience that, student life, if you will.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. Anything else for December, or just anything else to share in general?
We do have an energy startup event happening. Let me see. I think it's. We might have to edit this part. Okay, let me restart that part. When is it, December?
Isn't that like right at the beginning of December?
Yes, I believe the new event that we have is the Energy Startup. It's like an entrepreneur type of competition, similar to our Shark Tank, I believe. We have it in the evening, December the 4th, at our tech center. So the public is welcome to, preview it and see what it looks like. And we are looking at maybe partnering with our high schools, or our community high schools, if you will, and do something similar for our high school students who want to engage in that. So we're in the conceptual phase of that, if you will, and offer that opportunity. So we do have scholarships available for that, to the winners or whoever advances to that, in that sense. So definitely.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having us, and I look forward to seeing more of our community at our campus and us being out there. So if you have any needs and you want to reach out, I'm more than happy to meet with people and see how we can serve the community and how we can partner with them and go from there and see how that goes.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, sir. Yes.